Hi, this is my Cinebox film jukebox, made in Italy, 1961, runs 1961-62. You might seen already some Scorpion film jukeboxes from the early 60s, 60s, made in France, and that was brought to the US and manufactured there too. But this one is a little bit more rare. In fact, I only known of only two in existence here in Argentina. This one, which I bought in the late 1990s, and another one is not working. The other one I never seen it in person, but I know that it exists. It was very popular in Italy and in Spain and some other places around Europe, and it came by the late 60s to the US by the name Colorama. This one, I found it in a warehouse, in an old warehouse. It was imported in the late 60s and never sold. So this is what we can call home use only, because I'm the only one who used this machine until now. So when I bought this machine, it had only one film, which helped me for reconstructing how it should work, because I had no information about it, no manuals, not nothing. It was brand new in a pallet, in a wood pallet. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the insides, how it works, how it makes the selections, and what's inside this machine. It uses, like Scopitone machines, 16mm film, standard 16mm film, with a couple of differences on the standard optical sound film. Scopitone machines use magnetic soundtracks, which is a little more difficult, but you can find very easily films for Scopitone because it was a huge success in Europe, and it was widely marketed in the US in the mid 60s, late 60s. So you can find films very easily on eBay. But for this one, I could only find like 15 films in 20 years. And most of them came these last few years through some contacts on eBay and some people on Facebook. Now we are all connected and we can learn. And now I have the manual for this machine, the schematics and all the things. But when I first got this one, I had no manuals, had nothing, and I made it work. So I'm going to show you the innings, so the inners of this machine and how it works and how it plays. I put on this moving light myself, as I know that some models came with sort of an attract mode when the machine wasn't playing to display something on the screen. And I know that the other model has a slide projector, which now I know that was like an optional slide projector that changed with different album covers or artists or whatever, and it came as an add-on for the machine. It didn't came with itself. I don't know. I don't quite know, because there's very hard to find even in Italy. But these are the songs that are now inside the machine. You can see there are some old ones and some new ones, and that I will explain in a few minutes. As you can see, there's a big carousel inside holding all the films. It can hold 40 different films, and each reel has a capacity of 5 minutes each. So you can have a song as long as 5 minutes, no more than that, because it will exceed the magazine. So we have 40 films. Each film has this hook, this special hook, which I found through a friend in Spain, that he found me a couple of them, and I made a new mold and made my own. And also there's some old ones like this, which I made based on what I found when I bought the machine. it looked like this. It's a small metal clip and a nylon rod. I'll show you how it works and why is that. So you have 40 films in this magazine that rotates until it lines up with the projector head. This is the main projector head. Inside here is a multi-side prism that rotates with the film in a continuous fashion. Instead of having a Maltese cross movement or something like that, like any projector does, this has a continuous movement like a moviola. So it's quite noiseless. So you will only hear this, the cooler motor, this big cooler that cools the lamp that is there beneath that, and the motor that runs the film. So it's pretty quiet. Even the Scopitone that works in a similar fashion has a moving mirror that makes the film look steady, but it's way noisier than this mechanism. Here you have the lens. This is the projector lens, and this is facing upwards. And on the back you have an upper mirror, this one, which has it's curved. You see, that's because this mirror widens a little bit the image. It's like a zoom lens, let's say, for instance. And this one, it's also another mirror that projects the image to the screen. Here in the back you can see there's the screen and two small speakers, and there's two big speakers on the lower part. And here we have a power supply. This one is a power supply with selenium diodes that works pretty fine. And this is our amplifier. It's a very modern, state-of-the-art by that time transistor amplifier. I changed the caps because, you know, these old caps, they were still working, but, you know, better be safe, so they have some new caps inside. The selection mechanism is pretty simple. You rotate as well. You have the numbers there with the song, and you put the coin inside. When you move that wheel, you see there, this is the big wheel. This little coil moves, and when you drop the coin, it pushes this lever and activates this small rod here, which is our memory. You can select, like in any jukebox, all the films if you want to hear, and then it will play one after the other. And just like in a jukebox, it will play in the order that it finds the song in the carousel. So it won't play it in the order you selected, but in the order that's placed each film in the carousel. So let's say that we select one of the songs, Piggy Fever 16. Let's say we drop the coin, which activates this micro switch. Then the carousel starts to rotate. It will stop at the selection. And that small hook picks up the film, and the projector head goes down. Then the lamp goes on and it's playing. So you can see on this side, this is our projector lens. Now it's playing. You can see this is Peggy Lee. As you can see, you can only hear all of the motor and the cooler. That's it. You see the light is reflected to this 45-degree mirror, into the projector head. This is the prism that's rotating in sync with the film. And here you have the lamp for the sound. This is an exciter lamp, like in any 16mm projector, that projects that small line of light, a very thin stripe of light, into the soundtrack that is read by a LED on this lower head.
Such a new thing, people started long ago. Romeo loved Juliet, Juliet she felt the
Sound quality is pretty amazing. For an optical soundtrack, it's very high fidelity, in fact. This machine now has almost all new films. I found a guy in Italy that can print straight from an H.264 file or any digital file format straight into 16mm optical soundtrack film. In fact, he can also print in magnetic stripe film for Scopitone or the like. So we are not limited to what a guy can hear. So I can change films very easily. It's not very cheap, but it's not that costly. So there's a small sensor that's measuring how much film remains on the reel. And when it gets to the bottom, it will trip the end of film mechanism, will pull the projector head and start this rewind motor. It goes very fast. And then at some point, there's another sensor here that knows how much film remains on the take-up reel. So when it's getting to the ending, it will slow down the motor so it won't pull that strong. And that hook, small hook on the start of the film, will pull that arm back to its place and search for the new song. Now I'm selecting another one just to see how it changes from one to the other. Now it's playing again. There are two 12-inch speakers on the lower part. This is the other side of the machine where you see the relays that control the mechanism. It's all controlled by these only 3 relays and those switches and motors and stuff. Only that. Pretty awesome. I put the volume control outside. This is the original one that was inside. I put it outside so it's easier. You don't have to take the machine from the wall to adjust the volume. One last thing, thanks Mr. Totaki, who told me you have to do a video, man, for this machine that nobody knows how it works. So now it is. And regarding the films on this machine, it uses regular 16mm optical sound film, but as you can see, the sound head and the projector head are very close together. And so when you put a regular 16mm sound film, the sound is almost a second in advance. So it has to be adjusted. These machines have a special arrangement on the films to make it look in sync. The voice, the image, and the sound being in sync. So I have to adapt all the files when I send them to Italy for printing, and also, as you can see by the way the projector is placed and the mirrors, the machine has to be flipped like in a mirror. So I have to send the files flipped with a different audio sync, and that's why they look so nice. And also, the main issue with original films is the like most Eastman color or standard color film, it fades very fast. So most film before the early 80s are absolutely red. So I have a few films for this machine. Some are very used and the sound is very noisy. Some other ones sound pretty nice. Not as good as this one because the sound quality of this new films is amazing, and but they are all red. Just only a few remains of the color. Scopitone films made in the US were made in Technicolor, and I think were printed in Kodachrome or some sort of non-fading. So Scopitone films made in America still have an amazing color. That didn't happen with the Cinebox film, which are mostly red or brownish or bluish. So hope you enjoy the film and see you next time.